Hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin-Milling, and we are in the month of February, African American History Month, and I thought, what better time than right now to shine the spotlight on a very, very historic organization called the Prince Hall Masons. So we're going to talk about the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania on our program today, and we'll be back in just a moment with the Deputy Grand Master for the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania, Mr. Malcolm Harris. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, hello everybody. We are back with our program as we can now get started wholeheartedly with a very special dedication to the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania. And I have to tell you, I am honored to be able to shine the spotlight on them and to share some of the history. I know we can't tell all the history in a 30-minute show and in a 28-minute show, but we'll tell as much as we can. So I thank you, sir, Deputy Grand Master. I thank you, Malcolm Harris, for being here representing on behalf of the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania.
Well, thank you, Thera, for having me.
Yes, indeed. And we've been having a ball on radio, too, talking about the Prince Hall Masons over the last few weeks, trying to put information out there and all of that. But let's sort of start at the beginning, if you will. The history of Prince Hall Masons, which are observing their 200th anniversary this year.
Absolutely. We are so proud and honored that this is our 200th anniversary. In 1815, Prince Hall, who is the founder of Prince Hall Masonry, journeyed to Philadelphia and met with Absalom Jones and with Richard Allen, and gave them a charter to begin a Prince Hall Grand Lodge here in Pennsylvania. As you know, that Absalom Jones was our first Most Worshipful Grand Master, and Richard Allen served as his Grand Secretary. So we have deep roots with the AME Church, with those individuals who were pioneers and saw something in this fraternity that they thought would be of value to men of color. And so we're celebrating 200 years of that. They have taken on various types of causes for our community. We've always been in our community and being a force in our community. Simply because we don't advertise who we are and we don't publicize what we do. A lot of people think that there's something that's a secret about our organization, and we're no different than any other organization. All organizations have some things that are what they would consider to be secrets, but it's only available to those who are members. And so out of those 200 years, we have been practicing the principles of Masonry, but more especially, we have a responsibility to also be available to any human being who would need our assistance, but more especially to those who are part of our fraternity. We have, over the years, have been involved with anti-slavery. We have also dealt with the downtrodden and those that are involved with issues that they are, or shall I say, more civic issues that need to be addressed. We have been a voice for those. Fortunately enough for us, most of our members are in the political arena, and we have those that are also in the corporate world, and also those who are in just a regular everyday Joe, as we would say, who works and who goes out to make a living for their family. Our fraternity practice principles of how we should carry ourselves and how we should present ourselves. The way of Masonry is a way of life for us. I often tell people that Masonry is a part of my life, but it's not my entire life, because there's other things that I'm also involved with. But Masonry, for me, has been a tremendous asset. It has helped me to get to where I am today.
Well, now, I've heard it said in past years and many times that, you put a young man in the Army and that'll make a man out of him. And that may well be true. But I also believe that if you put a young man around some Masons, y'all are going to make a man out of him. Every time I see these young guys out on the street with the pants drooping down, and I can see their underwear, or worse yet, their crack of their butt. I don't want to see that stuff. And it just looks so sloppy to me. It looks like you don't care about yourself dressing that way. And I don't care if you're African American, European American, Irish, Italian, whatever, when you're dressing like that, and people would say, well, I'm an old lady, I'm old school, whatever. I'm about decency and carrying yourself like I am somebody. And to me, my personal opinion, when you're walking around with those droopy jeans and pants and looking all unkept, that's not sending a message. I am somebody, and I know I am somebody. So when I look at my Mason brothers, and this is from before I became an Eastern Star, since I was old enough to know, oh, they're Masons, those men in those black suits and those women in the white dresses, they're Eastern Stars. Dress like you have pride about yourself, like somebody brought you up right. And to me, that's a large part of what is missing from our community today, where we need, if we can reclaim that, and if we can get more Masons to somehow rub off on our young people, our younger generation, maybe they too will understand that to look like you look right now, dress like you're dressed, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, interestingly, you would say that there, because on Saturday I was at 4301 Broad Street, our temple. And we have a youth group, a male youth group, the Knights of Pythagoras. I happened to be in the building, and they, offered me an opportunity just to stop down, just to visit and see what was going on. I was amazed at the fact that they were having a seminar, and it was a room full of young men between the age of probably 14, maybe 13 to 20. And they were sharing with each other the pain and how it affects them in their everyday, and how being rejected by adults and not knowing who their father was and not having a father at home and the things that they had to learn. And it really touched me that these young men was in there sharing this, trying to find answers. And when you talk about people, the young men walking with their pants drooped down, I think they lack identity of identifying with anything or anybody. What I like about the Knights of Pythagoras is that they're around men who are directing them and who are teaching them, and they're learning leadership skills. And these are young men who came in off the streets and came in and joined our organization, and the Masons mentored them and tried to bring them along, so that they are productive citizens in our society. I'm so anxious to try and get more men involved. Like any other organization, we are losing members as well. And I think the reason why we're losing membership is because if you don't offer something that men can see a value in, that they can have an input in, they tend to drift off in other directions. So we're working very feverishly to try and come up with programs and things that we can do to attract them.
Okay, we're talking about the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania and sharing a little bit of their history, 200 years. We could never do 200 years in one show, but we're proud of the history that you have. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Brother Malcolm, but now, when the Masons, African-American Masons first got started, is it kind of like how the black church got started, whereas we wanted to go worship with our other brothers and sisters, but we weren't welcome. We weren't welcome to be Masons back then. We weren't welcome to worship in a church, at least not on the same level where everybody else sat. We had to go up to the balcony. So is that the other part that precipitated the Prince Hall Masons from stepping out on your own and starting your own?
Prince Hall, who had petitioned several lodges in the Boston area, Massachusetts area, and had been rejected. But it was a British lodge that was there, that was stationed there, that allowed him to come and to be initiated into Masonry. But Prince Hall didn't stop there because he was limited to what they could do in practicing Masonry. So he petitioned the Grand Lodge of England for a charter for men of color. Many won't talk about this, but we're the only ones that have a charter from the Mother Grand Lodge of England, which allows him to then go and make other Grand Lodges based on what their criteria is. So when he started, he had New York, Philadelphia, and Massachusetts was basically the first 3 Grand Lodges that were, as we say, the Mother Grand Lodge's boss is Massachusetts. And from that, started to grow the other Grand Lodges. He saw a need for men of color to have something that they could belong to. the church, as you know, during one time, they almost had to go in secret to worship.
Right,
And
right.
almost the same thing in masonry. And so there's always been a relationship between the church and masonry, simply because a lot of churches started in the lodge halls of masons, and a lot of lodge halls have started in the basement of churches. So that relationship has always been
Interesting.
there. And if you go back, which I was checking recently, there's a lot of things that happened during the civil rights, but most of the lodges, no one touched the lodges. There's a reason for that, because we recognize each other as brothers regardless to whether our race or our ethnic background or whatever our beliefs are. But as a Mason, we respect one another for that fraternity of men on one accord, meeting on the same level.
Yes.
And recently we've started to have more dialogue, and also we have even formed relationships with the Right Worshipful Grand Lodge, and we visit and we have recognition. They have recognition with us and we have recognition with them. And there are more other Grand Lodges that are now seeking recognition with Prince Hall, which means that we are doing something good that everybody wants to be a part of and wants to be associated with.
That is a marvelous thing. Now, ballpark, can you tell me how many different locations there are for Mason addresses here in the Philadelphia area? I know I can't even say all of Pennsylvania because you're representing all of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
But there's like hundreds, right?
Yes. Well, actually, at 4301, there's about 44 lodges that meet there.
Okay.
That's just the lodges.
Wow.
That has nothing. I can't tell you how many chapters meet there. Eastern Star chapters meet there, because you are a member of that.
I was inducted
But we
there.
also have concordant independent bodies that also belong to us that meet there as well. So
it's busy there all the time, in other words.
All the time.
Wow.
And what we're looking at doing there, hopefully in the near future, is to start to open up in the afternoons for the youth, so that we're going to do some tutoring. We want to do tutoring there in the afternoons and make us have a safe haven for youth that are getting out of school. See, I believe between the hours of 3 and 6 is a time that youth mainly get in trouble.
Yes.
And we want to try and provide a safe haven that those who want to come and have some tutoring and play some games and be a safe place, that they will have some place to go. So our building is open to the public. I'm sure a lot of people think that because they say, oh, those Masons, you got to be a Mason to go there. No, we welcome the public to come in, and visit us. And we're going to start to have tours. As a matter of fact, we're in the process now of developing our own museum, which we are excited about. We have space for that, and we're really looking forward to it.
I'm excited about that too, and telling that part of the story. The Mason building at 4301 North Broad Street, it's beautiful inside. It really, really is. We're going to keep up our conversation as we come back from this commercial break. We'll talk about what the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania are doing this year to observe their 200th anniversary. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Life is hard. Effective consent is simple. Do not make hookup decisions if you won't remember them. For more information on sexual assault, visit nomore.org.
Oops. Uh-oh.
Get on top of it before they do. Every 24 minutes, tipped furniture or a falling TV sends an injured child to the emergency room. Preventing tip-over incidents is easy, inexpensive, and only takes 5 minutes. Learn how to secure your furniture and TVs to protect children at anchorit.gov.
He's following me. He knows where my next class is.
"31% of female victims stalked by an intimate partner were sexually assaulted by that partner. For more help, visit www.victimsofcrime.org.
America, God shed His grace on thee. Oh, He crowned thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea.
Hello, everybody. We are continuing this edition of News You Can Use, a special spotlight on the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania. I am delighted to be able to do this show, particularly during African American History Month. And I know that sometimes the programs that we run here at LaSalle TV, you'll see them later in the year too. It's all good, it's okay. But we are learning a little bit about the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania. Can't tell you everything, because you're not supposed to know everything unless you're in the organization. But we're going to tell you enough to make you feel proud about the history, and that's what it is. Under the current leadership, we ought to take a moment to give recognition to our Grand Master.
To our most worshipful Grand Master, the Honorable Joseph B. Jefferson. He is the most worshipful Grand Master of all Prince Hall Masons in and for this Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He's also conservator of all Prince Hall Masonry, which is all the bodies that are also under the umbrella of Prince Hall Masonry in Pennsylvania.
Okay, and we do appreciate him very, very much, and certainly without his nod of approval, wouldn't have been able to do this show. So we thank you, Grand Master, for giving the nod of approval for the program, and we're only sorry that he was unable to be with us today, but nonetheless, the show goes on.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes, yes. So we were looking at the history in the first portion of the program. For those of you viewers who just turned your set on, you got to watch again, because this show will be shown again, but certainly a rich history, a strong history, very much coming out of the Black church, the movement's very, very similar. And as you shared, sometimes Prince Hall Masons halls were used for church services when the church didn't have a church, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, some of the other things that we do, Thera, we don't advertise it, that we have a coat giveaway, we do turkeys, and we give
These are annual things.
Annual things, Toys for Tots. We have annually, we hold throughout the jurisdiction of Pennsylvania, we have a youth health fair where we invite healthcare providers in to do testing and to share information with our youth. We also give out scholarships, book bags. You know, we encourage our lodges to adopt a school, and we encourage them to visit that school and to assist that school in ways that they can. Yes. So we are, again, very active in the community. You may not always see us, but the results of what we do will always show up. A lot of our politicians are members of our fraternity. And Jewel Williams, for one, let me just say our sheriff, Jewel Williams.
The sheriff's in town.
Very active individual, loves masonry, and always trying to find a way that he can help promote what masonry is all about in giving. We have a lot of others. I don't want to start calling names. If I miss someone,
we get in trouble, right?
I get in trouble with that.
Oh gosh.
I can honestly say him because he's always available to us. I have a personal contact with him. The other thing that we have that I'd like to mention also is that at 4301, we have renovated that our downstairs to a banquet facility. We've had the assistance of Keith Coleman, who is our building manager, who has done a fantastic job with putting
I know Keith. He gave me an opportunity for my first business, a business location. I was renting from him. He was good to me. Yes.
All right. Well, Keith is a good guy, and I mean, he's done a lot of work to get that kitchen up and running for us. And there's just so many things that's going on that's so exciting about 4301 Broad Street. And I just would like more of the public to take advantage and come in and see the things that we're doing. We're now approaching we've already reached our 200 year, but we're going to have one fantastic black and white gala, which is scheduled for Saturday, February the 20th, and it's going to be at the Springfield Country Club, which is at 400 Sproul Road, Springfield, Pennsylvania, just a short drive outside of Philadelphia. We're going to have red carpet reception where we're going to take pictures as people enter, hors d'oeuvres, and then we'll have our dinner. And I've said this several times, and people laugh. I said, don't come expecting chicken because we're not having chicken. But we will have prime rib and we will have baked salmon. We want this to be a very elegant affair that give us the opportunity to really let the public see who we are and celebrate with us 200 years. We have some special guests that I'm not at liberty right now to share, but we have some special guests that's going to stop by, and they're going to display their talents with us and share their talents with us. I do want to say that I did meet with Councilwoman Sydney Bass. And
my council lady,
had a great meeting with her, and we're establishing a good working relationship with her. She's very interested in the area there, Huntington Park, and so I had a chance to talk with her, and she's excited about some of the things that we're doing as well. So we're reaching out, and we're going to reach out even more and be more visible in our community. But let me just tell you about what's going to happen on the 21st, which is the Sunday following our Saturday.
So the black and white ball is on the 20th of February.
On the 20th of February. And now on the 21st, that's our Founders Day. And our Founders Day is when we celebrate the founders of our fraternity. We will be having our service. We will have our service at Mother Bethel. And when we arrive there, we're hoping to procession around the corner, all the way around back into the church with all of our regaled and our sisters with us. And we want to sort of almost like reenact the march from St. George's Church that they took when they went to and started their church at Mother Bethel. We have enjoyed a ongoing relationship with Mother Bethel, and also we are very, very fond of St. Thomas, which Athlon Jones started. So we alternate each year between those two churches of where we have our Founders Day program of services. So I'm so excited about what's going to take place
now
that
on the
weekend.
21st of February, the
public is invited.
Wow.
The public is invited to the 20th as well. We still have some tickets available. I talked to my ticket chairman just prior to coming. And those tickets are still available, and they can be purchased at 4301. We're right there in the vestibule waiting for people to come. But the Founders Day program is open to the public. We would love to pack Mother Bethel Church out with just as many Masons as we have, and just as many of our public to come and worship with us. Come and worship with us and enjoy.
What time is Sunday?
Sunday, we assemble at 3. And I think the service is scheduled for 3:30.
Okay, so that means I can go to my regular service that day and then swing on over.
Well, that's one of the things that we do. We try not to hold any service until after the regular services are done, because we all belong to other churches, and we all are involved in our churches. I'm involved in my church.
And congratulations to you on that note, because you just got ordained.
I just got ordained as elder in my church, and very happy about that.
What a blessing and an honor.
And I'm just so happy about all the things that God is doing in my life. So that, along with what I'm doing in the fraternity, and actually have an opportunity to come on your show and to call you at 6:30 in the morning to speak with you and to talk about Prince Hall Masonry, it's a joy for me to do that, and I look forward to it.
Now, in this great historic organization, my understanding is that you are actually getting ready to be elevated in the next year?
February, I'm sorry, I got February on my mind, but in October, we have our annual session. We go into our communication session. And at that time, the Grand Master, Joseph B. Jefferson, will be finishing his term, and I will then be elected and installed as Grand Master. So I would have then a 2-year term to serve. And then we have, and I need to mention the other 2 individuals that's behind me at the time, which is Melvin A. Austin Sr. He is the Right Worshipful Senior Grand Warden. And then I have Donald C. Jones, who is our Right Worshipful Junior Grand Warden. They will follow behind, and as we move along, we are establishing programs that they can continue when they become Grand Masters, so that we can have some continued type of programs moving forward, so we don't not keep changing every time we get a new Grand Master.
Yeah, yeah. Well, before we do run out of time, I just wanted to go back over the fact that aside from the very distinguished look that Masons have and that your sister organization, Eastern Stars, have their own distinguished style and look very, you know, responsible and grown up like we're supposed to, you all do work. You do roll up those handsome sleeves and do labor in the community. You do give back, and you mentioned it. You give every year, annually, school bag, book bag giveaways for the children. You do health fairs annually, job fairs. I've seen you all do political education where people can come in from the public and sit in your classrooms and your other ballrooms at 4301 North Broad Street and let people hear from candidates and make their own choice. You're not forcing any candidates down anybody's throat, but you're doing the education piece to help people sort of figure out, okay, I got to be responsible and participate in the political process. The Christmas parties for the children who are disadvantaged, and the Thanksgiving food baskets I've seen you give out, and so many other things that Masons do. And in some cases, Eastern Stars partner, and in some cases, Eastern Stars go and do their own projects, and you all do your own projects. But it's about service and giving back and caring about our community.
We have lodges that also go down to the McDonald House, and they volunteer down there. I don't want to leave the veterans out. I mean, we have training and we have seminars for our veterans too, because a lot of us are veterans. I am a veteran as well. So we try not to miss anyone out there. We try to touch bases on everything. If we hear of something that we may have missed, then we try to address that also so that we're not missing anyone.
All right, so now if people in our viewing audience want to be in touch with the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania, maybe they want to come support some of the activities that you're talking about, they want to volunteer, or maybe they want to know, how can I join and be a Mason or be an Eastern Star? All that information is at 4301?
All that information is 4301, and as I said before, if you want to be one, ask one. And I'm sure that everybody knows a Mason or an Eastern Star. If not, ask someone else, and they can point you to one.
All right, give us a phone number where people can be in touch.
Well, people who want to be in touch, I'll give them my phone number because I know they can contact me, and that's 484-802-8712.
One more time.
That's 484-802-8712.
All right, I thank you so much, Deputy Grand Master of the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania. I honor you. I thank you for being on our program and sharing just some of the history, the historic organization, the Prince Hall Masons of Pennsylvania. That wraps it up for me and this edition of News You Can Use. I want to remind you to check out the radio program we do at 900 AM WURD, Mondays through Fridays, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That program is called Daybreak on Word. Listen in, call in if you can. We have a lot of fun with that show as well. Thanks again for checking us out, and remember that you want to have an attitude of gratitude, and remember that life is fragile. Handle it with prayer.